Hello guys, Jennifer Brown, Digital Soldier here, reporting live from Las Vegas, also known as a targeted individual. I wanted to talk to you guys about an incident that I had on the bus last week. It was an incident in by which I was explaining about the human rights violations going on with the kids and what was really going on with the Hillary Clinton Evergreen shipping container in the Suez Canal. And some of the incidences of what has happened, the excavation under Washington, D.C., and what they found. And what the people around the world should have known but didn't know, because when the military gave that press release to the through press, radio, print, and film worldwide, no one reported it, which is treason, by the way, which is one of the reasons why now the military and or the president in charge has the license of all news outlets now. So back 3 years ago, I pitched an executive order to Washington, which is Executive Order 10995. Executive Order 10995 is an executive order that takes over all modes of communication through press, radio, print, and film, and television. I did not know at the time that JFK was the one who set that executive order up. The reason that JFK set that executive order up because he knew before he even presented the press speech that the news media had been compromised, in by which they were working with rogue CIA and being paid off and under mind control to make sure that they never, ever, ever told the truth about soft kill systems and remote covert technologies, and or human trafficking rings that were in satanic ritual abuse cults, which were and have been for the last 45 years harvesting adrenochrome. If you don't know what adrenochrome is, please look it up. So, with that being said, I was telling the people that we had a press release just within the last 3 months, how we are in DEFCON 2. That has been updated now to DEFCON 3. One of the reasons that we're in DEFCON 3 is because the Communist Party members of Washington, D.C., which pay homage and loyalty to Communist China, invited 126,000 troops, or a troop of 126,000, let's say that, a troop of 126,000, to come and be positioned underneath the tunnel systems of Washington, D.C. They have been fighting our military. Our military has been fighting them. Most of them have been wiped out. This is the second troop of which it has been taken down. The first troop was taken out about 3 months ago of 50,000, which was trying to come through the Canadian-U.S. border. You should have known about this stuff, but the media, as I said, has been compromised for 45 years. And there are certain things that you can and cannot do once you're on secrecy monolithic oath contracts, as such JFK Jr. talked about. And according to CIA operative Kevin Shipp, if you breach your contract verbally, you can end up imprisoned falsely for life and or assassinated. So the media is not about to tell you anything about the 100 kids that we rescued underneath Washington, D.C., who were brought up for party favorites, and how these tunnel systems leak to all capitals in the United States, as well as all other places like that, such as Washington or capitals in other countries. These are very vast, intricate tunnel systems. Our military has been rescuing children for 3 years. You should have known that. So far, they have saved millions of kids. The ventilators were not for ventilators. They were not ventilators. They were medbed technology. Jazar Nasrallah law allows us to get free medbed technology for cures of all diseases, cancers, post-traumatic syndrome, and addictions. It will be free to everyone around the globe once the Great Awakening happens. Furthermore, what happened was, when I was talking about the kids and some of the abuses that they were incurring, such as being locked up in cages, the infants and toddlers being sodomized, causing black eyes, which is called panda eyes, and how they were electrocuted by microwave weaponry, which is remote controlled, while they were in cages, and how their brains were also microwaved through the MK Ultra system. MK Ultra never ceased. There are 200 underground systems in by which they were testing these mind control centers, or using mind control, these mind control centers, which were testing on toddlers and older elementary and kids of that age and older. So at China Lake a year ago, just to corroborate, we did save 65,000 kids that were at one of these mind-controlled centers. We imploded the building. There were 16,000 staff, rogue military industrial complex members that were raping the kids at tandem, at random, as well as torturing these kids and whatever else. Our military did give them the respect and said, look, we're going to implode the building. You need to get out. Please just set your weapons down and just come out of the building, because if you don't, you're going to be caught in the implosion. The mind control was so severely severe with them that we weren't able to save one man out of 16,000. Mind control has moved into our sector of United States citizens, in by which we have a Stasi program which has been inducted for the last 45 years, which we brought directly from Germany, in by which we were working with the head intelligence officer, Reinhard Gilhen, who worked with the rogue CIA and brought 2,990 of his colleagues, who were all tried at Nuremberg trials, who were let go. Most people don't know that the atrocities that happened in Germany, only 14 people hung. So the rest of them, everybody was fighting for the scientists and whatnot. You've heard about Project Paperclip. That was 1,200 scientists. We all fought for them around the world. United States, CIA got them. They were brought over, and when they came over, along with the Aquarian group of Reinhard Gilhen, the 2,990 others, with the Aquarian group, remember that name, it's very important because it ties into the mind control program of today. Reinhard Gilhen, his right-hand man, was the head of the Stasi program, and so they implemented that Stasi program in 1947. The International Operations Manual of that Stasi program is found in the Gang Stalking Manual, PDF. The mind control was brought in through Project Paperclip. Half of them went to the secret space programs. Oh, yes, we do have secret space programs. Don't worry, sit down. That's going to be very easy. All we're going to do at the grand finale of The Great Awakening, which is going to be within the next month or so, is announce our space fleets in the sky. You guys will be required to look up and look at it. And once you do, a lot of bodies are going to be fainting because we know that you don't believe anything in the first place. So make sure to take the cameras. It's going to be pretty funny. So that's the easy one to explain. In the mind control, in the secret space program, they do have a blank slate technology, which is very similar to the MedBed technology, which is going to help in reversing post-traumatic syndrome. We used blank slate with a lot of these community-based gang stalkers, as well as those in Hollywood who did crimes against humanity. We have lost thousands in Hollywood already who have been killed for crimes, genocide level, that they did to kids. The military tribunals are very similar to the Nuremberg tribunals. They've been going on for 3 years. You're going to see some of those testimonies when we shut your phones down and your televisions down through Executive Order 10995, in by which too many of you have, held your hand up, said, I have an exempt card. It says that I don't have to look anything up, and it says that I can let everybody be murdered. It also means that I can be accessory to murder, and also means that I can turn my head just like they did in Germany, because it's my exemption pass. All I have to do is hold my hand up and say, you're a conspiracy theorist, point at you, make fun of you, mock you, and therefore walk away, even though I never, ever, ever, ever take homage to look anything up, because I have my exemption card. I call you a conspiracy theorist, and the game's over, and I'm the smartest, brightest crown in the box because I've been accessory to murder. Well, because it's a matter of national security, and you guys are letting all your people inside your communities be murdered, we have to sit you the hell down and get you to shut the fuck up and listen to what the fuck we have to tell you about what's been going on under your watch, under your noses for 45 years and what you've been allowed to happen. which is the crimes against humanity, crimes against children, and the crimes against adults. What media did fail to tell you is that when the U.S. Embassy people were hit with microwave in both Cuba and China, raise your hand if you haven't heard the story, because you're a complete idiot if you haven't. I know you have. 20 news outlets covered the story. If you Google right now, mind-controlled, or rather, not mind control, but microwave used on U.S. Embassy agents, 20 stories still come up, both from the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, BBC, NPR, and New York Times. I said that, Washington Post, and the list goes on and on and on. But do I expect you to look that up? No, because you got that exempt pass card. You're not allowed to look anything up once you've said that someone's a conspiracy or that you believe something is conspiracy. So because everybody is dying on your watch because you're allowing it to happen, because see, it's one thing that the news media is compromised, but who compromised you? Except you yourself. But the problem is that you're putting your own family units in harm's way because you're the gatekeeper and you shut down the information. You're the one that makes sure that no one finds out in your hometown. You're the one that makes sure that that the story is hidden and covered. You're the reason that people are dying. And you're the reason that you put your own family unit on in a very serious predicament. If you go to the NASA Future of War PDF, you see clearly that on many slides that microwave weapons is mentioned and how they're going to, what causes it. Causes bleeding of the brain, how it's used for mind control, how it's being deployed off the towers, and how everyone will go under this system. It has 200 military deployment systems. I spent 4,000 hours on the document. I was unable to debunk one sentence. And mind you, that it scared me so bad about the cell phone tower technology and the remote covert technology. I was setting out to debunk that document, and I failed miserably. I got very, very concerned, at which point I sent that document to a former CIA operative. His name is Robert David Steele. I told him, I said, I am very concerned about this document. I am putting my life on the line. I am already a targeted individual with microwave, much just like the ones in Cuba and China of the U.S. Embassy agents. We do know that the media has been covering up the crimes against humanity. They had the opportunity to say that they've been getting reports for the last 45 years from people who've been targeted in this manner, both through the brain and their organs, but yet they failed to mention anything. So I'm sending you this document because it clearly states that it came from Langley, which is the Langley Research Division. This was found on the NASA website, but when activists exposed this, they took it down. However, before they took it down, it was cached. Cached means that they record the history of the document. So when I mention some of these things, mainly particularly about what the abuses that are happening to the kids and how we just recently almost went into World War III because human trafficking is making so much money, in by which they are selling a product called adrenochrome. Well, adrenochrome can only be harvested from the victims of toddlers up to teenagers. Adrenochrome is only harvested by torturing the child while it's alive. The normal procedure of torturing a child is to deskin the face while it's alive. And then, therefore, it's kind of like, you know, when you shoot people in the military and they go into shock and they create all this adrenochrome, okay, that's what's going on. But the Hollywood elite and the ones around the world, and you would be very shocked because even people in Washington were doing this, hint Hillary and Uma. And I can say this because they do know in intelligence, you know, that's those idiots that you guys view. Idiots, the ones in the intelligence community, you know, the ones that are constitutionalists, you know, the ones that trump your journalist and your reporter. You know, those guys, you know, and the military intelligence, you know, the ones that you claim that are idiots, okay? Well, they aren't idiots, and you'd sadly be mistaken. They just reported that not only is this a huge grave problem, but it's an international problem. And this is why President Trump has had to increase his military tenfold. But not only is it a problem, but they were willing to kill anyone who stands in the way. And this is why you got the COINTELPRO tactics of the 70s, where they went after the Black Panthers and where they went after the activists of the 70s, in by which they care to assassinate you by any means possible, and they ruin you through the national media. And that's exactly what they tried to do with President Trump, because they knew that their necks were going to hang. We have 100 indictments against the journalist altogether. There's 250 indictments, I believe. Each one carries about 60 per each one. Some of them have 60 per each one. How did we get the indictments? NSA, baby. Because, see, these people were so stupid. They thought they had carte blanche, and they thought everybody was covering everybody's ass through a RICO, which is organized crime. RICO is a pay-to-pay system where I pay you so many thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars for you to keep your mouth shut and or to become a Stasi agent. The Stasi agents, how are they picked? The Stasi agents are picked in by which they have boards. They're going after your children. They have boards at the church, boards at the high school, and community boards at the colleges. You need to know about this, because when your child signs up to make that quick $100 for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or a 30-minute assignment, and to work all the way with the FBI fusion centers, they're automatically put on contract secretively. Once they sign the contract or they come aboard and they take their first payment, they are hit 24/7 deployment to the brain with radiation. So again, you're not reporting this as a citizen of the United States, which is your duty because you are supposed to be a patriot. You are putting your family in harm's way. Your nieces, your aunts, your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren, your children to come to pass, and your family unit. Do I make myself crystal clear on that? So as you're laughing hysterically, which I know you are by now, you probably didn't even make it to the end of this video. This is again by why we have to shut you down, get you to sit down and shut up and listen to some facts. You're not going to be seeing a bunch of, blogs here, fakery dickery doc. You're going to be learning the truth, and we're going to show you a lot of horrible, horrific, horrifying video footage of the kids, video footage of people like Midge Mathis, which she was burnt so bad from the deployment of microwaves to her face, she looked like she had been beat up by 50 men. And these crimes against humanity are happening because you guys are too inept to look anything up. Because of your Go Pass Free exemption pass card, because you call something conspiracy, and therefore that gives you the right to turn your head and look the other way, just like they did in Germany. But not only have you done it this year, last year, the year before that, but you've done it for 45 years. And so now it's become a matter of national security, not only in the United States, but around the globe. Because of your inept ability to talk about crimes against humanity, and you to step outside of your ego, and you to step outside of your social circles, you have allowed murder and genocide to happen because you were inept to report what your findings or look anything up. And also, you've been brainwashed into that the only place you have to look is the controlled, CIA-controlled apparatus called Snopes and Metabunk and fact-check sites. All media outlets have them, at least 100 per each news media outlet, major news station. So we're controlled by 6 corporations who control the news, and all 6 corporations have at least 100 fact-check sites between them all. They are all controlled by CIA. They are given what to say to debunk a truth. They are sent it via email every morning, and we have this. NSA has it all. The eight police officers that were assassinated in New York, they were assassinated because on Anthony Weiner's laptop, which we confiscated, along with Nancy Pelosi's and some other people during the raid where the terrorists were raiding, which wasn't Q movement. No, you'd sadly be mistaken. Q movement is headed off by JFK Jr. That's right. He has been in hiding for a long time, as was his dad. They did not even kill his dad. This is how I figured out that Martin Luther King was also in witness protection, in by which I knew that a Christian man, leader of his people, would just fuck this deep state and make sure to save another man because he was also a Christian and a leader of his people. MLK will be the glue that helps put Humpty Dumpty back together again, because he's going to explain to you why he's a Republican. His great-great-granddaughter is Candace Owens. She has just made an announcement within the last 3 months, last 3 weeks, last month, and within the last month, that she is considering running for president. She married a count somewhere in Europe. We're very proud of Candace Owens. JFK Jr. has children, and one of them has already been working in Washington. We basically saw her every day or every other day on television. I'm not going to give out that name right now. You'll find out after the Great Awakening. JFK Jr. was inaugurated into the vice presidency on the 19th of last month. His wife is alive, and one of his sons looks just like him. So the military is in charge. We're in continuity of government. I also pitched this to Washington 3 years ago. I'm a just-in-case girl. It's not like that I don't think that they don't know this stuff, but, I thought that they may not know this stuff because as it was told to us, the activists, continuity of government was a program in by which if we had any serious events happen in America which harmed hundreds of lives or threatened hundreds of lives, that COG would go into place. And under the old guise of continuity of government, the activists such as myself were to be executed and sent to FEMA camps and the rest sent to education centers. So I pitched Washington, you don't want to do this because you want to make sure rather to tweak it. You can use it, though, because your executive orders are already there for you, as each president of each that came into Washington signed executive orders in relation to continuity of government. This is where people in the nation are threatened and or the president. The president is put into hiding, and the military and FEMA take over. This is where we're at right now. For all the reasons that I mentioned to you earlier about the kids, and also, of course, the bioweapon COVID that came out of Wuhan, as well as the vaccine program, which a lot of people have died from, and the lying media and the manipulative media. These are domestic terrorists, the Stasi program. All of these are reasons, just one of them is significant enough to put us into continuity of government, and I knew that. So I pitched this to Washington, D.C. I said, you can tweak it up and make sure, because I'm doing this because I believe in this President Trump. I believe in your administration, and I believe that you guys are here to save the day. So I'm pitching this. I'm putting my life on the line. I may not live after this, but it's okay because I feel it's worth it. So, sometimes you just have to get a patriot to stick their neck out, you know what I'm saying? Because if we don't, who is? It's not going to be the normies, that's for damn sure. Because as you guys are still laughing it up right now. You are putting people and citizens in your own family in harm's way. And we just can't allow you to do that anymore, internationally. Unfortunately, rogue CIA has used Epstein Island. They used Epstein Island as the blackmail fixer to get all the news media, the Hollywood, the people in big tech, the people, prime ministers, the world elite, the people in politics, and so on and so forth. It was a slaughter island. I call it Slaughter Island. They were harvesting adrenochrome there, and it was a big place for pedophilia to go on. Biden has an island right next to it. You'll find out about Biden later. He is not your president, I will tell you that much. military knew that another reason we're in COG is that the elections were stolen. They also know that it was going to happen. We have a technology which is housed at Area 51. It's called Project Looking Glass. That gives the ability for us to look into the future. Don't worry. Once you see the ships in the sky, you'll get the understanding that we're a lot more advanced than what you think. So this is what's been going on. And this is what you guys have been allowing because of your inept ability to look anything up and go beyond the fact check sites. If you want to get a good source of information, you can go to wegosocial.com or you can go to anonup.com or you can go to Jennifer Brown LinkedIn. I have a lot of stuff from Anon there. This is where you're going to find a lot of people from the military, a lot of people. General Flynn is on both of these sites. He is a part of the operations. I do believe that's what they're saying. Very, very important integral part. You need to understand what the Trump Redemption Team consists of. I'm one of the members here. So there's millions of us around the globe that are trying to wake up the people. They're called digital soldiers. Our head of our movement is JFK Jr. The movement is called the Q Movement. The movement also consists of 800 special ops, all the top generals and brass of the military operations right now, not only that are saving the kids, but those special ops that are doing the arrest of people around the globe, and some of the people involved with the military tribunals. Charlie Ward is head of the financial reset. He's in there, and international police, which is called Interpol, and of course, NSA. This is the people that comprise up the Trump Redemption Team. When the Great Awakening happens, you're going to be led to digital soldiers. I am one of them to get your information. So, as well as the links, so, new links. When we come back on the other side, it's stated that Twitter will be shut down, Facebook will be shut down, YouTube will be shut down, Yahoo will be shut down, for working with terrorists and promoting pedophilia and human trafficking. I don't know that Wayfair is going to make it. They were also listing products, a pillow, a $20 pillow for $65,000. Because when we looked up the name of the pillow, it matched to a human trafficked child. And there's many other sites like Wayfair that were doing the same. Most of the people that are against Trump have ties to Communist Party China and or are protecting those and of Pedo Island, Jeffrey Epstein's island, and or have been, the top CEOs of those companies have been to Pedo Island. Are you starting to see the big picture now, or are you still laughing hysterically, rather? And I know human rights violations seem really, 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 God, I can't think. I've been hit by so much radiation, guys. I'm sorry. I just lose my words sometimes in my thoughts. I know you think it's funny and it doesn't warrant, attention, and that you feel that as they say, the man with the orange hair, who cares if he's saving kids? Who cares if his military saved the human race? Who cares if he's about to wake up the people worldwide? We just don't want him in because of the things that we heard on the mainstream media. Y'all need to snap the hell out of your trance. This is not about coveting your ego. This is not, again, covering up your ego. You want to know why I know your ego is so tampered? Because when I went over the crimes against humanity of the kids, not to mention the infants that are slaughtered. They take the infants, and all of this stuff is filmed and put on the deep, dark web. The infants that they bring in through the human trafficking or steal or kidnap. They're set in shipping containers, which is lined with silver lining, top, bottom, sides, and everything else. And there's a dentist chair with a small fitted chair inside that where the infants go. Outside, next to the infant's chair is a dentist tray with tools to torture and kill and rip out its organs and its whatever they want. And the people on the deep dark web, they order up this stuff and they pay with so much money. That brought in trillions, hundreds of trillions of dollars annually. This is mentioned by Robert David Steele, former CIA, as well as the gun running program and the drug running program. These programs were combined with all monies made to make sure that they continued their Black Ops programs, which is how to kill off the human race. Many of these Black Ops programs are found in the military bunkers below, and this is what our military people have been fighting our constitutionalists. So we have many, many people within our communities that have handheld weapons that are part of the Stasi program. How many Stasi do we have here? Well, 10,500,000. Their assets will be seized whether they take the Truth and Reconciliation offer or not. All cars, boats, Game Boys, all computer systems, everything that they had will be liquidated and be divided out between the community-based agents. Between the targeted individuals. Sorry, guys. Within each city. If you're a doctor and you sent your client packing down the road, your targeted individual down the road, and you knew just because you got a payout of $4,000 or $20,000 or $15,000, we will have your assets. We'll have your house. That's happened to me twice, both with a neurologist and another doctor from another hospital here locally. If you're part of a shelter system, it does state in the gang stalking manual PDF that organized crime is being done through pay-to-play outs. Money system or RICO with shelter systems. They get paid X amount of dollars to kick the targeted individual down the road. Now, do I think that they're calling the staff in general the head staff manager? Not sure. I think it may be done on an individual basis. There are ways that they track the targeted individual because they are not only followed every day by these Stasi agents, but they're also having their phones monitored. This is why I've been homeless for a year, because every time I apply for a job online, they know date, time, place. When time I get there, they're calling my potential boss and telling them it's going to be a felony if they hire me. Many people in the targeted individual community ended up homeless in this regard, and it is so bad to where the human rights or the system which helps homeless people, it is so bad that we're not considered human trafficked, and no one listens to us, that some of us end up sleeping at the airport bathroom. Not me yet. I haven't had to deal with that yet, thank God. But I do know that Gerald Sosby, who is a former FBI agent, who was also a judge in his hometown, had to do that. There are many people inside the intelligence agencies that were hit with, that are also targeted individuals. Most of your targeted individuals are very, very smart. They range from professors to people inside the intelligence community to scientists and to anyone else who knows too much knowledge, who is trying to get the word out on how our people are being killed through soft kill and remote covert technologies.